Hey ambitious professionals, it's Linda Rayner of lindarainer.com, guiding you to a career and life you'll truly enjoy. In today's video, I am going to teach you my 5 tips on how to improve your social communication skills, no matter where you are, whether you're at the office or in a social setting, so that you can speak more confidently and present yourself in the best possible way. Ready to get the job you want? Top-notch interview is coming soon. For more info and free training, head to jointni.com. As a career strategist, I've had the honor of being able to help numerous professionals land their dream job offers. And so if this is something that you're interested in working with me one-on-one, I can give you details about that at the end of this video. In the work that I do, I get many professionals ask me to help them to improve their communication skills. Now, many of them are actually people who may not originally be from North America or Australia or Europe, and you're struggling to communicate at a social level because even though you naturally aren't really a shy person, but when you're faced with certain social groups and certain social settings, you find that you just simply don't know what to say. And so if this is you, I just want to say, first of all, I'm not an English teacher, so I'm not here to teach you English, but I'm here to show you a few tips on how you can improve your social communication skills so that you can interact with others in a more natural and confident way. Tip number 1. Entertain yourself differently. What I mean by this is if you really want to truly be able to connect with others in your environment and really immerse yourself in the environment, then you need to entertain yourself differently by watching different types of entertainment, whether it be TV shows, movies, or even live shows. Now, this is the first time I'm sharing this with people publicly, but I happen to love watching Korean dramas. When I feel like watching something that's going to get me hooked and I really want to get a good cry, I'll turn to a good Korean drama to watch. But here's the thing. If you happen to be Korean, for example, like you are originally from Korea, you grew up there, and as an adult you moved to the States or Australia or wherever, you don't want to be spending most of your time watching Korean dramas. Because as much as they're entertaining and fun and you feel comfortable watching them, you're not necessarily enabling yourself to immerse yourself in a different culture. You're simply reconfirming what you already know. And so if you mix it up a little bit and watch different types of TV shows and really pay attention to the nuances, the language, the way that they make jokes and the way that they speak to one another, you're opening yourself up and your brain to a new way of thinking, a new way of communicating. Once you broaden your variety of entertainment, including by going to comedy clubs, going to different types of live events, theater perhaps, whatever it could be, you're allowing yourself to learn the humor, the different phrases that people use, you're understanding how people really speak, and you get to learn what people really talk about. So what happens is once you're in a social or even just office setting and people are talking about something that is relevant to what's happening, you're going to understand it and you're going to be able to communicate to them in their language that way. All of this is going to help you to relate to your colleagues and coworkers in a more personal way. You'll be able to understand what it is they're talking about and you'll be able to contribute to the conversation. I'm not telling you to completely give up on the type of entertainment that you love, because of course you deserve to watch what you want to watch, but at the same time I'm just saying if you broaden your variety of entertainment, that's going to help you expand and grow as an individual, and that's going to help you with your social communication skills. Tip number 2, hang out with people outside of your culture. Join an in-person networking group or club, anywhere where you can meet people face to face. So for example, if you like playing volleyball, maybe join your local volleyball team. Or if you happen to work at a large corporation, a big company, they likely have social clubs that you can join and meet people there as well. Participating in these things is a great way to get yourself to interact with people who you probably wouldn't normally interact with outside of work. You'll learn what people talk about, how people interact, and it'll help you to develop those habits as well. Tip number 3, open up. Share your thoughts and observations. If you want to be able to get closer to people, then opening up and sharing things with them is the key way to turn acquaintances into friends. Just simply watching different TV shows and being around different types of people still isn't enough to improve your communication skills if you're not going to be bold and be willing to speak up. To be interesting, you need to be able to share your observations about things. So whenever someone brings up a topic about something that you have an opinion about, don't be afraid to share your opinion. Obviously, you don't want to sound negative about it, but you can say things like, I always thought it was weird that, and say whatever you thought was weird. Or, I always noticed blank. When you can share these types of observations that you've had throughout your life about a certain type of topic that people happen to be talking about, it shares a different dynamic about you, and it reveals a little bit more about your personality, and it makes people feel a little bit more connected to you, because who knows? They might be thinking the same thing. Tip number 4 is get to the point. Part of good social communication is knowing how to articulate your ideas in a clear and concise way without over-explaining the details. This takes practice. One way you can start to monitor this is moving forward whenever you want to tell a story to someone or you want to share something with someone, instead of giving yourself 5 to 10 sentences to tell the whole thing, it's better to try to cut it down to 2 to 3 sentences. Get to the point as quickly as you can right away. And what that's going to do is, if there's more that needs to be said, the other person has the opportunity to ask for more, and therefore you can have a free-flowing conversation between the two of you. Now, if you have the opposite problem where you don't say too much and instead you say too little, then you also want to monitor how much you say by trying to say at least 2 or 3 sentences as well. So at the end of the day, you want to be able to elaborate what you're saying in a way where people can understand what it is that you're talking about, but they don't feel drowned in the details. And finally, tip number 5, connect by being genuinely curious. I've said this before in other videos, and it's because it's extremely important. In order to be able to connect with other people, you have to be genuinely curious about them. You have to be willing to truly ask questions about themselves and then ask them why, and really genuinely listen to their answers. And then from listening to their answers, you're going to learn how people communicate, and you'll be able to do the same as well. And to end this video, I thought I would leave you with an inspiring quote, which says, "You must immerse yourself in an unfamiliar environment in order to truly understand your own." So there you have it. Those are my 5 tips on how to improve your social communication skills. Now, if you're someone who has been looking for a job for the last little while, you've been getting some interviews, but you haven't had much success, and you realize that you need one-on-one professional guidance from me, then feel free to reach out to me on my website at lindarainer.com/standoutgethired. Read through the page, fill in the application form, and from there, if it seems as though we are a potential match to work together, then one of my team members will be reaching out to you directly. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ready to get the job you want? Top Notch Interview is coming soon. For more info and free training, head to jointni.com.